Tuesday, December 3, and it's 22 days to Christmas. President Granger calls out opposition for boycotting of government-led functions, and Prime Minister Nagamutu welcomes Logos Hope to Port Georgetown. Welcome to InfoHub. His Excellency President David Granger recently rejected the opposition's move to deliberately boycott government-led functions and for attempts to stymie development in selective communities.
The head of state has slammed the moves by the PPP-elected regional officials to boycott government-led functions as well as official visits, and for also deliberately stymieing developmental works in some communities.
Sometimes you have a great deal of resistance from chairmen who were elected on a PPP ticket, and the information they provide is unreliable. Sometimes I, as president, would go to a region, and there's some regional chairmen who would never meet me. Some I've never met, even as a matter of courtesy. I can't rely on them.
Meantime, President Granger clarified that regional outreaches conducted by ministers and government officials were essential to addressing various challenges faced by citizens.
I have to go myself. I have to send my ministers to speak to the people, to go into the communities. And if we had a more cooperative attitude by the PPP elected officials, this country would work much better. But I can't rely on the behavior of some of these regional chairmen. I have to go myself. I have to send my ministers.
Over the past year, ministers and coalition government officials have been visiting communities across the regions to meet and listen to concerns of residents. Many of the issues and challenges highlighted have been resolved through swift action. Felicia Valenzuela, InfoHub.
Prime Minister Honorable Moses Nagamutu welcomed to Guyana 400 persons from 60 different nationalities as he officially opened the Logos Hope Book Fair last evening at the Guyana National Shipping Corporation terminal.
Logos Hope is a ship operated by the German Christian charitable organization, which features a mobile bookstore. As part of the international Christian outreach movement, Director of Logos Hope, Phil Hahn Park, explains.
The vision of Logos Hope is to advance the well-being of people everywhere. We also would like to learn from the motto of your country, Guyana: one people, one nation, and one destiny. And we are very excited and to be happy to be here in Georgetown. And we already could see the beauty that God has put in this city.
Prime Minister the Honorable Moses Nagamutu, while delivering remarks, shared how thrilled he was while researching the history of the Logos Hope.
Ni hao, guten tag, and buenas tardes. Good evening, and welcome to Guyana. Couldn't help but being inspired by the fellowship on a vessel that would take to the world the message of hope. Your being here is part of that light that you're casting to help promote knowledge in the world. And for us in Guyana, knowledge is freedom, absolute freedom in my context. It is a freedom of the mind to grow and develop and to be able to get strength and values that we can contribute to the furtherance of the nation and the national interests and the interests of all of our people.
The Logos Hope has over 6,000 books in its collection, including books for recreational reading, professional references, personality and individual development, and books about different global cultures. In its 7 years of existence, the ship has visited 158 countries and assisted over 40 million people. For InfoHub, Rebecca Ganish.
The Ministry of Natural Resources, through its Forest Carbon Partnership Facility project, has organized financial management workshops to ensure agencies under its purview are financially prudent.
Tuesday's workshop with the National Tushels Council is the second workshop held by the Ministry of Natural Resources in little over a week. The first, on financial accounting, was held with small loggers a week ago. Opening Wednesday's session, Minister of Natural Resources, the Honourable Raphael Trotman, told participants that managing the country's patrimony needed to be done with much know-how, careful analysis, and never with the assumption that one knew the job without actually undergoing any particular training.
We can't just rely on our instincts and basic knowledge. It is good, therefore, that workshops like this, conducted by experts in financial management, can show us how.
Minister Trotman said it starts with the little things, though seemingly little are quite foundational.
Like managing your books, doing depreciation and costing your expenses, ensuring that if you are a profit-making enterprise, that you are in fact making a profit. You may be very busy, but you are losing. And if you are an NGO not into profit, at least you should not be in the red. Because money comes, it is precious, it is valuable, it is to be respected because it is a gift.
Like Minister Trotman, Chairman of the National Tushao Council, Nicholas Fredericks, also agreed that the 3-day session was greatly needed to ensure proper management of the country's resources. Felicia Valenzuela, InfoHub.
For the next 3 days, stakeholders will be exposed to information and practices to guide the development policies, their choices of technologies, and improve practices within the cooling sector. This is aimed at minimizing the sector's long-term carbon footprint on the planet.
Like most countries, the use of cooling technologies in Guyana has become a necessity. According to Minister of Agriculture, the Honorable Noel Holder, between 2016 and 2019, an estimated 20% increase in importation of cooling equipment was recorded. The minister was at the time addressing the gathering at the launch of the Energy Efficiency and Alternative Technologies Seminar for Cooling Sector.
This trend is expected to continue, along with the possibility of dramatic escalation in these numbers in the coming years, resulting in a concomitant increase in the consumption of energy in this sector. Cooling, although recognized as an important technology, is also one of the highest consumers of energy in Guyana.
Minister Holder said it is estimated that this sector accounts for approximately 17% of energy consumed worldwide. UNDP resident representative Herrero Bermudez applauded the initiative and announced his continued support in these efforts. He said tackling global warming is an urgent task to protect life on Earth and to ensure food security for everyone.
It is a privilege to be in the room with Guyanese stakeholders as well as representatives from over 13 countries in the Caribbean whose actions, together with others elsewhere in the world, will have the potential to cool down the temperature of our planet by 0.4 degrees Celsius.
The initiative is being organized by the Government of Guyana in partnership with the United Nations Development Programme UNDP and the Government of New Zealand. It is being hosted at the Arthur Chung Conference Center from December 3 to 5. For InfoHub, I am Kelon Rover.
When we return, Minister of Finance urges Guyanese in the diaspora to give back to Guyana, and Cheshire Home in Mahaika is promoting work of persons with disabilities. Details of these stories and more after the break. Thanks for staying with us. For the members of the Buxton United Sports Club, Monday evening was a turning point as overseas-based businessman Godfrey Harry donated cleats and footballs to enhance their performance on the field. Minister of Finance, the Honorable Winston Jordan, handed over the gear.
Shamar Fraser, a 23-year-old who plays left fullback on the football field, has been practicing the sport for 14 years. Fraser was excited about the donation to his club.
As getting more is always good. As we have some games and putting on a new top would always feel nice on the field.
According to Paul Kingston, a footballer with 16 years of experience, the donation will have a great impact on the club.
Most of the players don't really have much gears and football equipment, so I really think it means a lot to us.
Minister of Finance, the Honorable Winston Jordan, made the handing over a reality through his constant contact with overseas businessman Godfrey Harry. During remarks at Tipperary Hall in Buxton, Minister Jordan said the gesture is a reminder of the government's focus on youth development.
Youth playing sport does a lot for a country.
On this note, a clarion call was made for Guyanese within the diaspora to remain steadfast in their contributions to their homeland.
I would like to call upon the diaspora, the greater diaspora, to do more for their country in helping disadvantaged youth, in helping a disadvantaged club, in helping a disadvantaged home, so that Buxton can rise again.
The club has made strides at the National League. Some of the bragging rights also include reaching the semi-finals of the KFC Under-20 tournament and copping several championships. Donations of footballs were also made on behalf of the coalition government. Shaquille Bourne, for InfoHub.
Promoting the participation of persons with disabilities and their leadership, taking action on the 2030 Development Agenda is the theme for International Day for Persons with Disabilities. Today, a team traveled to Mahaica to highlight the work of resident Carey Beard.
Carey Beard has developed his talent as an artist since the beginning of his residency at the Cheshire Home in Mahaica. Some of his work was on display at the home's mini-fair and exhibition hosted in observance of International Day for Persons with Disabilities. He spoke of how he got started in this area.
I grew up in Letem. And St. Ignatius is my village. I went to school and I didn't learn no other thing, but I put myself to do art because that was one of my hobbies and I love that, to be drawing. And I continue to draw right through during my spare time.
Carey says that adapting to painting was a drastic lifestyle change, which he now embraces in his spare time.
Right now, I'm in a position, right? So I have all the time. So I'm doing it because I have nothing else to do. I can't find work. I can't do anything to help myself properly. So I'm still keeping myself active and doing what is impossible.
Carey suffered an accident 7 years ago and is now considered a person with a disability since his mobility is supported by a wheelchair. Prior to that, he was a jack of all trades. He considers his current state as a blessing in disguise as he continues to nurture his love for painting. For InfoHub, Delicia Haynes.
The University of Guyana recently hosted its 43rd convocation for the Institute of Distance and Continuing Education. Here's our final report.
Dr. Jacqueline Murray, director of the IDCE, told the graduates to be grateful for their success.
As you go into another phase of your life, as you decide what it is you do this with thankfulness and never forget to thank the persons who have helped you along the way. Every blessing to you all.
Dr. Paloma Mohammed Martin, Deputy Vice Chancellor for Philanthropy, Alumni and Civic Engagement, said history has been created through the collaboration of the university and a corporate entity.
There will be 55 awards made today from among you. Your tuition fees will be refunded to 55 people who have done excellently this year. Late last year, we entered into an agreement with ExxonMobil to provide scholarships for students in IDC. This is the first time in the history of the university that such scholarships have been awarded.
Dwayne Long, IDCE's 2019 valedictorian, shared his pathway to success and directed his fellow graduates to continue their academic careers.
These challenges can prevent you from achieving your goal. Whether you sit back and allow those challenges to hinder you from achieving your goals, or you face those challenges, overcome them, and use the experience to achieve your goals is what makes a difference. I would like to encourage you, my fellow graduates, not to finish your academic career here, but to pursue levels of education at the University of Guyana and to help contribute positively to our country.
Reporting for InfoHub, Gavin Lewis.
That's all for today. Connect with us on WhatsApp, Facebook, and YouTube. Much more news is on our website, dpi.gov.gy, and pop over to Instagram for the latest photo updates at DPI Guyana. Your bridge and weather reports are up next. Goodbye.